Objection. The defense rests, Your Honor.
Hi, I'm Ruby Allen, and I'm with Hospice of the Owens Valley, located right here in Bishop, California. I wanted to let everybody know about a great community event that everybody is invited to. It will be held December 1st at 5:30 p.m. at our Hospice of the Owens Valley office, located at 363 Academy Avenue, right across the street from the Bishop Union High School. We are having a Light Up a Life ceremony. It's a hospice tree lighting ceremony, and it will be held outdoors, so dress warmly. It's something where friends and loved ones can be honored and remembered or memorialized. Your gift of $10 will place a light on our tree in their honor while supporting the good works of hospice care. We also will be having the high school choir come in and join us. We also will have outdoor fire pits for marshmallow roasting. There'll be some treats, as well as make and take memory ornaments. So this is a special time where if you're grieving or remembering somebody, you know, it's hard during the holidays, but this is a nice way to remember somebody while benefiting a very valuable organization in our area. So please join us this December 1st at 5:30 in the evening. Bring a friend, you don't need an RSVP or anything, and plan on having a good time. We have lots of special things planned, and if you want to create your own little ornament that you can take with you to put on your Christmas tree, it's a great way to remember somebody. Thank you. Hope you will join us.
That was Sara Baldwin. I'm Jason Brown. We're talking music, and she just said the same outfit because we're writing this over the period of 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Yes, we're filming it all at the same time, but pretending like it's a different week. Sara, let's go back to music. I know you got a new album coming out, but before we talk about that, what got you started in music?
My dad's a drummer.
Okay.
And my brother's a drummer.
Well, that would definitely do it.
Yeah. And we kind of, we grew up kind of rough, every other weekend we'd visit my dad, and it wasn't the best living conditions, there was addiction and, just strangers around. And my dad is also sober now too, 25 years.
Awesome.
Thank God. And it's always been in my blood. I remember when I was like 9, I told my mom, I'm going to be on the radio. She's all 2 and 1. I'm like, I'm going to do everything, and so the first time that I played the drums is my brother wanted to play guitar because he's like, okay, now I want to move to guitar. I've been playing drums. So he handed me the drumsticks, and it was just really natural for me. And my dad even came in, he's like, what's going on here? And so drums was my thing. I started on drums.
Wow.
I sold my car in high school for a drum set. I moved my bed out of my room for my drum set. I'm like, I don't care about sleep. I don't care. I'm going to get to school. I'm going to play the drums.
Wow.
And so that was my thing for a long time. And then I became a bass player in an all-girl band because I just wanted to be in an all-girl band so bad. I was like, I'll play bass. And I would be playing guitar. I'd always write. I'd always go on these trips and write some weird stuff. And picking around the guitar, and anywhere that I would go and I would see a music instrument, I was just drawn to it. I didn't care about, at that moment, I didn't care about the party, the clothes. I was just like, ooh, music. So I worked at a record store for 5 years, a used record store in Burbank, and a lot of bands actually, System of a Down, Linkin Park played there. We got tickets to go backstage to Incubus. I mean, it was in the 90s grunge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is me, and so that's how that started.
I love record stores. I hate the city, but I love when I'm down there. I go to Sherman Oaks. Freak Beat Records is my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
I go in there and go through the vinyl and have to walk away with $100 or something.
Oh, man. Yeah, my stack of CDs, because we can only keep 10 every week, employee stack, it added up quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's shift. Let's talk about the new. Well, wait. Let's go back. You said your dad's sober and was in a good environment, but I recall seeing on Facebook just recently, I believe it was your dad and you in Africa, you getting baptized. Can you
Yes.
tell us about that? I think that's very interesting to me.
It was an amazing experience. My dad has a nonprofit called Smile Seekers, and it started
Smile
off.
Seekers?
Yeah.
Is there a website for it?
Yep, smileseekers.org.
Smileseekers.org.
You can
Tell
also
us about
check
that.
Instagram or Facebook. Well, it started off in Riverside.
Okay.
And he was really new to sobriety. It was a kind of what led into it, but he was there visiting with a friend, visiting their mom in a convalescent home. And he just started walking around to the rooms and peeking in the doors and saying hi to people. And they were just like so desperate for someone to come talk to them. And he left that night and he was like, all right, this is a sign, you know? And so he went back again and started visiting them. And then he was like, wow, I think this is I'm on to something right now. So he started bringing my cousin. At the time, she was, I think, like 6 or 7. And, like, the joy on their faces just lighted up seeing her. So then they went and dressed up as clowns. And then it just became this place for people that were in recovery, that were just getting their kids back, you know, in parolee houses. I mean, just some were in fine positions, some were in, like, desperate positions, you know. And just going to cheer up the convalescent homes. And it was just a beautiful thing. And then COVID hit, and so we couldn't visit the homeless people, the elderly anymore.
Yeah.
So my dad started feeding the homeless in Riverside.
Okay.
And he feeds probably about 1,000 people a week.
Wow.
Over down by the Wash. And so that's how it began. He through the years, met this pastor in Africa, and led him to this other pastor, Ezekiel. And so they've been funding this village, and I'm trying to give you like the short summary version
It's okay.
of recent activities. So anyways, fast forward. He got funding to build a well in Africa. And that really changed the village. Like, you know, hundreds of people benefit from that well every day. And so I've been invited to go several times, but it felt bad, like that money that it would take for me to fly there
Right, I
could
get
feed
you.
the village for months,
Right.
you know? So this time around, I was like, hey, I want to shoot a documentary. I want to tell my dad's story. I want to like capture these people. And so then it made sense for me to go, which I have some amazing footage. I can't wait to release that, actually. And so while I was there, I was like, you know what? I want to get baptized while I'm here. And so I didn't ask the pastor yet. I asked my dad because I didn't want to make the trip about me
Right.
or what I'm doing. And he just loved the idea. And so we talked to the pastor, and he loved the idea so much that he said, you know what? This is what we're here for. Everything else is just secondary now. We come here, you come here to show your faith. And so it was just a beautiful moment. The women bought me a dress. And,
I saw that. That was beautiful.
it was just a really powerful moment, and I had these people around me praying for me, and the prayer is so powerful there. Like, the people have every reason to complain. I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm sick, I have a fever, I'm hungry, and just joy. It's just crazy how much we can learn from these people, seriously. And so that's how that happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was really amazing experience. Like, as soon as I got up from the water, I didn't hear anything but like birds, and just for a moment, and I was like, wow, I was like, did you hear that? And you know, only I heard it, and
Wow.
it was a great experience.
That is awesome story.
Yeah.
So faith plays a real big role in your life now.
Huge. And you know what? I realized that faith has always played a giant role in my life, but I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
You know,
God's always been there.
Yeah.
We're the ones not looking in the right direction.
I look back and I'm like, wow, I'm so glad to be like not in jail, or I'm so glad to be alive. I'm so glad I didn't hurt anybody physically. Like, all the times that, you know, that could have gone really much worse than they did. That was just God protecting me for the bigger picture, and to right now in this moment, you know, and just to be able to, like, I can't deny him or that. So now I have to like just be upfront about why I am where I am.
Yeah.
You know, and it's played a huge role in like a lot of people's lives. That, you know, it's amazing that some people are embarrassed or scared to talk about their faith, you know, in fear of what other people are going to think, or they're not going to think I'm cool enough, or maybe I'm going to lose some followers or whatever.
Right.
You know, and for me, it's just like, if there's any moment in my life to be proud of my faith and where it's gotten me, is like, I'm going to be on the front lines now. Like,
Yeah.
this is where it's gotten me. And this is, you know, like, he has a plan for you too. And so you just have to listen. You just have to be ready. And I'm tearing up again.
That's okay. I've been finding more lately, when I was younger, things were always black and white. You either do it or you don't, like when it came to faith. And now I'm just grateful for grace.
Absolutely.
Because I realize so much looking over my life. It's like, it's just grace.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us the new album name. It's going to be an acoustic version.
Yeah, it's all acoustic with one ballad, and it's called Walk in Faith.
Yo.
Yeah, and
how did you come up with that title?
well, I was just paying attention.
Good.
It feels really good to sing the song Walk in Faith on the record. In one of the lines in the song, I actually was able to put all 3 record titles in one sentence. As I reach for the sky, there's no turning back, and I walk in faith. And so that was like a really aha moment for me, dancing around my house like, I know that was you. All right, I'm listening. Like, you know, and it's, as an artist, you know, people categorize your music like, what genre are you? And for me, I just have like really focused on, I'm a songwriter.
Okay.
And so what kind of music do you like? I've got something for you, you know, like it's been very challenging, you know, maintaining the consistency as far as like what to expect next from me. And so I know there's a lot of followers that follow me because of my heavy music. There's people that follow me because of my faith. There's like different demographic of people. And so I guess with this record, I really was just trying to put out like, I'm content with who I am, and I'm not trying to fit into a box. I'm just trying to follow my path and be a good influence on people.
It's got to come out of you, and it doesn't
Right.
have to always be rock and roll. I mean, look at all the heavy metal in the '80s, and they did some of the most beautiful ballads.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm excited to hear it. I really like the fact that you're all over the place when it comes to music.
Thank you.
My spectrum, I don't torture Jimmy behind the camera too much, but some days it'll be Sinatra, and the next day it'll be Hailstorm all the way to the other side of
Nice.
things. So, you know, the only thing I don't really get too much into would be more of the rap scene, but there's some of that I still like as well. But
Yeah.
music,
same.
it's just got to come from within, and I think we've covered basically what I wrote here, God in my heart and music in my soul. So the music in your soul is what changes from album to album.
It does, and it feels good to play the heavy stuff live. And then there was a moment when I was in Africa, and I got to sing at the churches. I got to sing Walk in Faith.
Oh, cool.
I put it on the PA, and I sang with my song. And by the second time that I was playing it, the people in the church were singing along.
Oh, wow.
And they don't even speak English. And I was able to like feel this power of like, wow, like I'm singing about what I'm living now. You know, I'm walking in complete faith with everything that I'm doing. And I'm trying to utilize that to the fullest of like, what can I do now? Well, now, I don't care about what I want anymore. I've gotten everything I wanted. I wanted to put out a full-length record that was heavy, that was like me. And so I just like, you know, was just looking up one day, like, what can I do for you? What can I do for you now? And so I woke up one morning and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put an acoustic record out.
So this is your gift above.
This is my, you know, I read somewhere it says, God's given you a gift, and the best way to tell him thank you is to utilize that gift. And so this is a thank you to him and to
It's all right. That's awesome.
You didn't tell
It
me
means
I
you're
was going to
passionate
cry.
about it, and I like that.
I'm just really grateful to be where I am right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So SaraBaldwinMusic.com. You have a show coming up. It's quite a bit of ways out from the airing of this, but February 5th at June Lake at the T-Bar.
I do, and that will be a full band, full drums, electric, heavy stuff, some surprise guests, and we're going to be rocking the house. Mostly originals, 2 covers.
We filmed up at the T-Bar before. Maybe we'll have to come back up again.
You should.
Where, besides Sara Baldwin Music, can people listen to your music? Can they tell Alexa? Can they?
Yeah, you can tell Alexa. I'm on Pandora, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube. I've got probably about 10 music videos up on my YouTube channel right now. And I did a Tool cover with an amazing violinist, Emily V. And I've worked with some amazing musicians on these records, so please check it out and go support them too. And they all have their own stuff going on. And yeah.
Well, we're
Tell your
blessed.
friends.
We're
Tell your
blessed.
friends.
We're blessed to have you. We're so glad that you got that notice that you had to move out.
Thank you.
I know it was
Me too.
hard,
No.
but life's a journey. We're glad you're here, guys. This is Sara Baldwin, and she's a musician. She lives in the Owens Valley. Check out her music at SaraBaldwinMusic.com. Just go ask Alexa or somebody to play Sara Baldwin's latest album. And I think we'll have to have you back, 1, when that documentary comes out, and 2, when the new album finally hits.
I'd love
When
to.
is the new album hitting?
I'm not sure yet on a release date.
Ooh, we're keeping you hanging.
I'm going to release a couple more singles off my No Turning Back record before I do that. And I'm excited about that. The next video I do release is probably going to be the video I shot at Jake's.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, you've heard it here, and I'm going to put some of this into rotation on 92.5 FM. So tune in to listen to Sara Baldwin's music right here in the Owens Valley. Thank you, Sara, for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll have her back.
Well, I happen to know you have brought some examples of your work, both of framing and is there any with gouache or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so
there
you'll
is.
be able to demonstrate it. So why don't you pull up one of the paintings and you can talk about it.
Okay, very good. So this is one of the paintings that will be on display at the Visitor Center.
Oh, nice.
So this is a
Now,
paint.
just to stop for a second,
Sure.
are they all for sale, the ones that are at the Visitor Center?
They
or-
are.
Okay.
They are all available. So this is a painting of lake reflection in Kings Canyon National Park. This was done with a combination of watercolor and gouache. So I started out with watercolor. I put some gouache over that, and I don't know if you can tell or not, but in some places the gouache kind of gives a little bit more texture.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually see the brush strokes. I'll have another painting that has even
I like
has
that.
even thicker strokes. But then also I do my own matting and framing. This frame is made out of solid poplar, and so I put a nice amber finish on it because I thought that would just kind of go good with
Yeah.
with the bark on the trees and some of the other colors in the painting. So.
Yeah, you framed not some of your work, but some other work that I had, and I think it was pretty much that color. And I don't know if it was poplar, because I'm not really adept at knowing which wood it is. But
That's what I work in mostly these days. I'll also use red oak, but mostly I like poplar.
okay, bring on the next
Nice
one.
grain. Okay. Just set that off to the side there. Okay.
Ah, yes.
This next painting will not be on display. It's sold. It found a nice home here in Bishop, as a matter of fact.
I like that.
So, and normally these paintings I'll have glass over them, but I thought that might be a little bit better
Yeah, for us,
filming
for our
purposes.
Yeah.
So this is a painting of Mount Whitney. I did this on matte board. So usually what I matte a painting with, it was kind of an almond tinted matte board, and I was
okay.
I was just playing around. Started taking some sepia watercolor, and moving the brush around on the board, and I kind of liked what was happening. So I did this painting of Mount Whitney. Then I came in and added the snow with gouache.
Oh, okay.
So this is a kind of a little bit of a mixed media
I love
here.
the light in that one. It's really interesting. I get to
Thank
see
you.
that every morning lying in bed. I don't get out until I check to make sure it's still there. Yeah.
Which is always reassuring.
Yeah, it is reassuring. It doesn't change much.
And then the last one is this is once again not quite the view from my backyard, but close. So this is Pinion Creek Canyon from Independence, just outside of Independence. This was gouache done on toned board, and what really I was really excited about this painting because I applied the paint a little thicker than usual, what's known as an impasto effect. So you can really see the brushstrokes have some texture to them. They'll cast a little bit of a shadow when the light's just right. And also in the lower right and left hand corner of the painting, you can see the actual board the actual surface that I painted on. So I intentionally left that bare in places. And
Of course,
I just
seeing
kinda-
in person is the way to see it. I mean, on TV it doesn't probably give you the full effect, but that's a beautiful painting.
Thank you. And this will be on display
Okay, so
at
they can
the
see
visitor
it.
center in Lone
Excellent.
Pine,
So
they
they'll
can
be
see
able
this
to see it in
This
person.
This one's available.
I really recommend that you get down to the visitor center. It's very exciting, and it's only for a limited time through October, probably, it sounds like.
Through October, possibly into November,
Like in
but
November.
certainly the early autumn.
And bring your wallets. Chris Langley here with Dave Kirk on Eye on Inyo Artists. This has been really fun, and I do
This is
enjoy
great.
listening to you talk about your work.
Oh, thank you.
It gets better and better.
Oh, I'm having a blast. So.
Yeah, all right. Welcome to Eye on Inyo Education. We have George Lozito, who has been in education all his life, from kindergarten on, I guess, right?
Right.
And I've known George a very long time, and we've taught together and played together and everything in between. So he's going to be talking today about, he was just reelected to the county school board. He was not, nobody challenged him.
It's a
So I call
thankless
that
job.
a re-election. I said people are either afraid to run against me or nobody wants the job, and I think I know which one. So we're going to talk about George's career in education in Inyo County. I'm Chris Langley. Hi, George.
Good morning, Chris.
Tell us about yourself, and particularly in education, not all the things that I know about you, but just the education part.
Interesting that you're interested, but I spent 34 years in education, and most of it right here in Inyo County, and started.
How many generations have you taught?
I think 5, which sounds
Oh
like
my gosh.
Well, we'd have to go off mic, and maybe you and I could figure it out together. But there was a odd situation where I started teaching in Inyo County in Lone Pine, and I was teaching at the high school mostly, a little at the junior high, but also I would do adult ed classes in the evening. And one of the classes was to help people who didn't have their high school diploma get their GED. And so there was some very young adults there who had not finished high school because they had started their family very, very early. So I
guess
actually,
that counts.
I actually had a parent who was quite young in that adult ed class, and subsequently I think I got 5 generations out of that one.
Wow. That's
And the reason I
impressive.
got on the back end of that, when I was county school superintendent, we ran the state preschool program, which maybe we'll talk about later in the show, I guess. And the state preschool program, of course, had very young individuals. So I had the 5th generation in the preschool program.
Wow. So then you went back to school, I believe, for a while, and became an outdoor educator. Is that right? Or
Well, I got a degree in what's now called environmental ed, but what back then they called it outdoor ed. But I did take a sabbatical and do that. But I taught in Lone Pine, and then took a sabbatical and came back, and then eventually got a position in Bishop. Started out as a vice principal and a teacher, and then became a principal, and started Pine Street School, which is now merged into the history of Bishop Elementary Schools is an odd one, but it was Bishop Elementary and then Home Street School. This one was K-5 and Home Street was 6, 7, 8. Then in education, they do things and they forget that they did them already, and then they redo them, and then they say, oh, that's not working, and they redo them again.
I remember the unification that we helped with.
That was great.
facilitate.
That actually did a lot of good.
Yeah.
But anyway, so at one point in Bishop, they had then changed from a K-5 school down to a K-2 school called Elm Street, and a 3-5 school called Pine Street, which I opened and started, and that was a lot of fun. And then Home Street School then became what's called a middle school, 6, 7, and 8. Mm-hmm. And that lasted a good, 15 years, and then they decided, oh, we're going to do a K-5 elementary and a 6, 8 middle school. But anyway, I was principal at Pine Street for years, and then eventually superintendent, and retired from the county superintendency. And now I wanted to still keep my foot in the game, so I became a member of the county school board with you.
You did, and I appreciate that. And you're very, very knowledgeable and helpful. So it's good to have you there.
Yeah, I think it's a good deal because as you know, on the school board, we don't run the show, but we give a lot of advice and perspectives that come from different areas, lay areas, education areas, business areas, and that's valuable.
Yeah, it is.
So you don't just, on the other hand, all these areas, whether they're education or aeronautics or underground construction, they all have their different sets of stuff, and they're very specific. So the stuff that goes on in the administration and funding of education is Greek to most people. I think we have more acronyms in education than anybody else.
We do.
Name a few.
No.
Come on.
I'm being signaled that we have to go. Well, on the next segment, we will do that. Okay.
Okay.
We'll talk Ed Talk. This is Chris Langley with Eye on Inyo Education with George Lozito. And he was afraid he wouldn't have anything to say. Now, guess what?
Well, I haven't said anything.
Well,
snow's gotten to the point where it's settled down. A lot of it's packed up so you can walk across it. So that makes getting into Hot Creek and the Upper Owens pretty easy. On the Upper Owens, it's a 45-minute to an hour walk in to where I like to fish. Well, I think the big fish are concentrated, and it just isn't worth the effort right now. At best, we're getting 1, maybe 2 fish a day up there. But if you are going up there, use stoner nymphs and green gold prince nymphs. Over at Hot Creek, the blue wing olive hatch, it's going from, 10:30, 11 till about noon, 1 o'clock, and it's worth fishing. Fish are definitely coming to the surface and feeding.